audio seem to be okay. Hello everybody, we are back again. TikTok is live and YouTube is live. Sorry editor, just faffing around. Okay, oh god, scooches over there. Anyone on TikTok, I am live on YouTube as well, and it's going to be a much higher quality experience over there because you can actually see my screen properly. I'm still working on that Windows PC. I had to order a new thumb drive in order to get it working because I was trying to reformat my Mac from a large external hard drive, but you can't do that. You need to use a smaller one, otherwise it doesn't get recognized as a boot disk, blah blah blah. It's very, very boring, so I'm not going to go into it. But ideally, I'm going to reformat one of my MacBook Pros into a Windows PC, and then I'm going to be able to stream to TikTok as well, so you'll be able to see the screen, and it's going to be a lot more useful. But for now, you can see this camera here. It is what it is. But yeah, hop over to YouTube if you want to see everything properly. And cool, I'm going to hop into this. This is now day 8. So welcome to AI with Kyle, day 8 of building in public. The goal is to build up an application over 30 days in just 1 hour per day. I'm using Lovable, so I'm vibe coding this tool, creating it using natural language, which is something that all of you guys watching at home can do as well. And I want to show how in just 1 hour a day I can take a project from basically an idea, which I had last week Monday, into a fully functioning app, and then launch it and get it marketed and actually make some money, hopefully by the end of the 30 days. So that is the plan. And I'm not spending hours and hours and hours a day, despite the fact that I probably could and really want to, because it's fun to do. I am instead limiting myself to 1 hour in order to show that this is extremely possible. Okay, so hopping on in. So where are we? Yesterday we worked on the dashboard. So we have 3 lead magnet generators in play right now. Let's quickly do a run through. So I put in a YouTube URL. It analyzes the video from the transcript. So what's happening here is the image, so the, what's going on with my lights? That's bizarre. The transcript is being pulled from the YouTube, excuse me, I sound like an old person, from the Facebook. Transcript is being pulled using the YouTube API into my application. That transcript is then sent off to OpenAI, to ChatGPT, in order to process it, and that comes up with a number of lead magnet ideas. So for example, the video I just threw in is how to rank in ChatGPT, which is a video that I have. And this comes out with a checklist, AI SEO optimization checklist, is your SEO ready for AI, a quiz assessment, and mastering LLM optimization, a comprehensive guide. So 3 different lead magnet ideas. The purpose of this is it allows me to place these below my YouTube video in order to capture emails and specific lead magnets below specific videos. So even if you're putting out many videos a day, as I do, I would be able to create lead magnets that are connected to that particular video, which if you were doing this manually would be incredibly time consuming. What we can then do is click on create this lead magnet, and it will generate the lead magnet, again using ChatGPT plus some information about my business that we feed in. And then it's going to go into what we added yesterday, which is the dashboard. So the dashboard allows us to see all of our previous lead magnets, and it makes this a lot more functional. Initially it was just testing out, making sure the lead magnets could be generated. Now we're moving on to actually turning this into a product. So there we go. It has gone ahead and created a lead magnet checklist. But more importantly, we're going to go over to the dashboard. This is what it looks like now. So, okay. Interesting. That did not work. And here we go, straight into an issue. That is fine. So what it should show is the... Yeah, it doesn't show it. I can't see the video that I just generated, so something's gone wrong. We will work on that in a minute. What it's going to show, what it doesn't show, but it will show, is the thumbnail of the image. We added that yesterday. The thumbnail of the video, the title of the video, and then the lead magnets that we have generated off the back of that, and then we can click and we can view the history. So this means instead of just creating 1 lead magnet, we can create many, and they will all appear in here. I'll add things like bulk exporters and bulk processors, etc. But right now we're just building the functionality step by step. But already we have run into a problem where we are not seeing the lead magnet I just generated. And so, okay, those thumbnails look good. This is from yesterday. Oh, what am I doing? I'm going to speak. Okay, the thumbnails look good. That is working. However, I just generated a new lead magnet from the dashboard screen, and it did not save it into the... Sorry, I generated a new lead magnet from the home screen as a new test, and it did not save it into the dashboard. It is not appearing as an entry at all. If you check the time codes, it should say Wednesday, 10th of September. That is the day. So look for one that's just been generated Wednesday the 10th of September and see why it is not appearing in the dashboard. The thumbnails look good, it's just a new issue that has appeared. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Thankfully the voice mode is working. Yesterday it wasn't working very well, which was frustrating. It is a new feature they just added into Lovable, I think last week, and I believe it's in collaboration with 11 Labs. I should check that instead of continuing to say that. Let's see, Lovable, 11 Labs. Lovable launches voice mode powered by 11 Labs 5 days ago. So it's using their speech to text model Scribe, and it's very good, extremely good. What this means is I can now code or vibe code by talking, so it's even more vibes. Like you could literally sit back with a microphone and just chat and build the application in that way. And we talk about this on pretty much every live stream. How much coding do you need to know? It is still really useful. However, it is becoming less necessary, especially for building a prototype, especially for building a first version of the application. You can now vibe code to quite a high level. What this is really useful for is a lot of people have ideas in their head. I know I meet a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a lot of idea people out there. Very few of them have moved on to the building stage, and it's when you start to build something that you realize that maybe your idea isn't that good. The idea itself is one thing, but it's not very valuable compared to the actual implementation. Previously, because of the difficulties of coding, because of the difficulties of putting together an application, you had to learn all of that first before you could implement your idea. Now you can implement your idea very quickly using a vibe coding tool, and this is great. It's a wake-up call for a lot of ideas people, where they realize very quickly that, oh, my idea is trash, and I actually the value comes from building this into something that's actually going to work. So you can have an idea like, I'm going to build a tool that does XYZ, but then when you actually have to think about the user flow and what information is going where and how to funnel that information and that data and what should be shown, what should not be shown, that's the actual work, and you can do this with vibe coding. I found the issue, you're currently not logged in. Let me re-log in, because it could be that. And if that's the case, we need it to be more apparent when we're not logged in. But we'll re-log in and see if that changes anything. Oh, wow. So just checking TikTok chat. It's very busy at the moment. If you've ever done vibe coding, you know that it kind of takes some time whilst you're doing generation. So it's actually quite useful having chat here, so I can go and check out what's happening. Oh, lots of gifts. Thank you, guys. So there we go. It's created the lead magnet. Let's go back to the dashboard. No, you're lying, Lovable. Lovable is lying. Oh, they've changed this. Okay, they've changed the interface. Funnily enough, I know who's changed the interface as well. I know who he had lunch with him the other day, and he does this kind of stuff. He does the token counters and this kind of thing, which is really cool when you know the person who's building behind the scene. It's like, oh, okay. So I've just pushed that update because I'm not sure if that's in place, and I'm going to re-log in just for safety, because I don't want to start making changes when it's a human error rather than a coding error, because that can happen. And when that happens, when I'm kind of given the wrong feedback as a human to the AI, it will believe me. One thing I really like about Gemini, which is Google's one of Google's large language models, is that it will call you out sometimes. It'll be like, the user thinks this, but I don't really think that's the case. And it will actually sometimes push back and say, no, I'm pretty sure I'm right and you're wrong, you stupid human, which I really appreciate. Okay, no, that is not. So that. Okay, so I found the issue, not currently logged in. So I'm doing this in the live version, not within your test environment. And I am logged in. I've also logged out and logged back in, and I'm still having the same issue. So that is not the issue. If you want, I can log in within the test environment and we can make sure it's working here. But we've been doing a lot in the live environment recently, so it should work there. So the issue is something else. Brand says, I feel like GPT-5 has gotten a little more personal again in the last week. I feel like they're loosening the rails. So they said that they were going to nudge the personality of GPT-5 back towards the middle, because so Sam Altman said, yeah, we accept it's a bit too rigid. They didn't really specify how or to what extent, but the implication was they're going to nudge it back towards 4.0 and try and find a happy medium between 4.0, which was many people thought too sycophantic, too agreeable, and 5, which is it's a bit lifeless. I think that's probably how I would describe it. It's very robotic. You're right, let me investigate this properly. I can see you're successfully logged in. Let me check what happened. So it's interesting that you are seeing that, Brand. That is exactly what they've been doing. The issue seems to be that your function call isn't reaching the edge function at all. Yep, that sounds like a problem. Let me check the browser console logs. So the function call is happening inside my app. It's basically a bunch of code which is all packaged together into something called a function. And an edge function is happening over on my database, or it's sending to my database. Let me check the browser console logs and add some debugging to see what's happening when you submit a URL. I've added comprehensive debugging to track exactly what's happening. Now try generating a new lead magnet and check the browser console. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to generate ideas and then we'll check the console. So debugging, it's adding some extra code which will mean if and when the process fails, it will at least have some notifications, some messages saying why it has failed. So that's what the debugging code it's added is. And I'm going to be able to find it in my console, and I'll show you how in just a second. So lead magnet generated. Let's go and check if it's there. It is not there. Oh, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have done that, because I need to check the console logs on the page where the issue is happening, so that was silly. So I'm going to generate that lead magnet again. So every time I do this, I'm actually sending information back and forward to ChatGPT, or to GPT-5 specifically, and it does cost me money. It is not costing much money. It's costing me less than 1 cent per message going back and forward. Okay, I'm not seeing anything in there. Console's clean. Let's see if we're missing anything over here. Nope. Okay, let's see if this is a problem. So, alright, why can't I authorize in this main? Is a question. Sorry, in the test environment. No, I don't want that. This. Nope. Okay, that might be, no, that shouldn't be the issue. Okay, okay, in the live site there are no console errors. The lead magnet is still not saving into the dashboard. This error was introduced when we added the thumbnails, so perhaps check there. Are you using Claude code? No, I'm using Lovable. However, Lovable is built on top of Claude. This is Lovable. The reason I'm using Lovable, because Claude code is very good, extremely good. The reason I'm using Lovable is it's much more accessible. So the whole purpose of this exercise is to build something over 30 days and to show people that they can build as well. So that's why I'm doing it not in Cursor, and I'm not using Claude code. Those are fantastic tools, but they're more intimidating if you've never touched code before, and I want to show people that you can use natural language. We can actually speak to the vibe coding tool, and we can still build something without having to touch cursor, without having to touch Claude code. Both of those are fantastic, but they're just a higher level of sophistication. Yeah. And Nate's saying Lovable also builds good starter designs as well, 100%. So it's great at the front end stuff. It's really good at kind of getting the basics into play. What I personally do is I will then take it to GitHub and then pull it back down into Cursor and then work on it from there, depending on the project. Some projects, like I do basic lead magnets and quizzes and assessments, you can do the whole thing on Lovable, and it is perfectly fine. If you were building a huge enterprise level B2B, CRM solution, you're probably going to take it into another place, or you'll use a different tool. But it depends. It really depends. Found the issue. Fixed. Okay, again, we're not going to believe it just because it told us. This is kind of the rallying cry of every one of these streams, is just because it tells us something doesn't mean that we're going to believe it. So just for safety, I'm going to log out and back in. I'm going to regenerate. I'm going to hydrate. I am CardiB187. Bro is yapping for days and has done nothing. Well, no, we have built something. I am moving slower than I would usually because I'm doing the live stream specifically for that reason. I'm only doing an hour a day as well, because I want to show that this is possible. Because I run my own business, I could technically just sit down and grind this out for a few hours over the next few days, or even today, and get it done and launch it probably to my newsletter tomorrow. That's not very helpful for other people though, because it's still not working. Because that's a luxury that I have because I run my own business. So me moving at that speed doesn't help anyone else. So that's why we're doing it this way. That's also why we're not using Cursor. That's also why we're not using Claude Code, because it's for a different audience. Amin says, how does it compare with Bolt? I prefer Lovable, but everyone has their own preferences. For me, Bolt is, well, the last time I tried it, it was really, really good at doing kind of a one-shot and it looking really good. I like the look and feel of it, but then as soon as you had to do anything complex, anything in the back end at all, it would just kind of collapse and it would fall into loops. I've found Lovable deals them a lot better. Saying that, I am currently in a mistake, in a problem right now, but that is also part of it. With Bolt though, I've tried it 3 times. Every time I would just become frustrated and I would not be able to get a fix in at all. So for me, it's generally Lovable and Cursor. Cursor is a great workflow. I've been using Codeex Fit and Codeex has improved. Yes, I saw Sam Altman commenting about that, about how in the Claude Code subreddit, everyone is now talking about how great Codeex is. So yeah, Codeex with Cursor is a nice little workflow. Right, so this is not working. It is telling me it's working, but obviously we're not going to listen to that. So maybe it is to do with this Google OAuth. Fixed. The issue was the edge function was only saving the video transcript but not saving the generated lead magnets to the database. I've updated the function too. It should appear. Okay, there is no change in the application itself, so I don't think this is the issue. Also, we were successfully saving the transcript, the lead magnet, the video title, the details of the video, and the lead magnet very recently, just prior to adding the thumbnails. As soon as we added the thumbnail functionality, the addition of new videos failed. Could you check to see whether there is a video about how to rank in ChatGPT? Oh wait. Oh. Okay, ignore me. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Alright, the reason this is going wrong is because we have a previous how to rank in ChatGPT here. Okay, so this has actually brought up a really good point. So it has been creating these lead magnets, and can you see it says 7 in here, and I can actually find those lead magnets, and that is working. So let's do a quick test. Let's do one that I haven't done a video on. So this is where you kind of want an AI tool to say, no, you're an idiot. It's definitely working. This is human error. This is me being an idiot. So let's try this. So what has happened, I'll show you in a minute, is, let me see if this works first, but this is just me being stupid, which happens. And then me not believing the AI when it's like, no, it's fine, it's working properly. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's me not paying attention. So what's happened is it was creating the lead magnets and it was saving those lead magnets, and that was no problem at all. But cool, okay. But it was placing them into an existing video. So I'd already made lead magnets off the back of this video, and I was just totally forgetting about this. So what we kind of want is, this brings up an interesting thing. If I've just created a new video about how to rank in ChatGPT, we kind of want this entry to come to the top again, because imagine somebody's created 50 different lead magnets or 50 different videos. It's going to get buried down there. If they create a new lead magnet for an existing video, that would be too far down. Like even with 4 or 5, I missed it because I was being stupid. So we want that to return to the top when we create a lead magnet. Cool. Also, that didn't save. So we have a second issue. Okay. Okay, it turns out the problem is me. It was not you, Lovable. I apologize profusely. What had happened is I was generating a new lead magnet for a video that had an existing entry in the database and an existing entry in the dashboard, and that new lead magnet was being added to that existing entry, but it was not moving the video to the top in the dashboard. So I'd like to add that functionality so that if I create a new lead magnet for an existing video in the database, then that will move the that video entry and all of its lead magnets to the top of the list of videos that have been processed and update the date when it was created. So we kind of want a last modified or a last added date, and that will pull it to the top. This will allow us to more easily find the lead magnets once we have a much longer list. So yeah, that is a problem. It is not it is not a problem that we've been talking about for the last few prompts. That was me being stupid, but we do need to fix it so that the video gets moved to the top when a new lead magnet is generated within it. Cool, thank you. Stupid. At least it was me this time. What do you think about Bolt planning and add Claude code? I haven't used Bolt recently enough to comment on that. So I try to test out all of the tools every few months because they progress so quickly, but there are just so many of them. And Bolt several times was not very good for me. So I tend to do my planning in Claude. So I have a full project plan here. But right now I'm using, so I tend to do a project plan in Claude and then bring that over with a listed to-dos, like a master list into Cursor. But here I'm doing it in Lovable, again, to keep it nice and simple and to show people that they too can vibe code. Okay, so that is now updating. So it probably won't update the existing ones. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do that SEO one again and see if it bumps it to the top. There we go. So back to here, there we go. Stupid. But these things happen. Oh, that's new. Let me make sure that's not an authorization error. done that. It might be an authorization error. So the reason, just not. Well, shit. Okay, I've managed to run into a real error. What have we got? I've had this before. Let's see if we can punch through this quickly. Okay, that's now causing an error upon submitting the URL, and paste that in. So for those of you who have not been on previous lives, what I've done, and you can do this in Chrome on any web page, you can right click, click inspect here, and this brings up the inspector. What we want is the console specifically. Can you see there's a red X here with 3 errors? That's what we're interested in, but to actually see that we have to click on console. It's a bit of a weird setup. And you can see these red ones here: failed to load resource, function blah blah blah, non 200 starter code, status code, etc. So you can see what is going wrong here. Now, even if this means nothing to you because you've never touched code in your life, that is fine, because what we do is we right click and we click copy console, and that's going to grab all of this information. Then we take it over to Lovable and say, hey, there's an error, this is what's happening. So it's saying it's fixed it. Again, we're going to test it. Hopefully we're not stuck in a stupid little loop. I'm going to re-sign in. I'm going to grab this one. Oops, and then we're going to drop it into here. The reason it's been annoying, but the reason we have to use Google is to go and pull that transcript from the YouTube channel. There are ways to do it unofficially, but YouTube kind of cracks down on them, so we're using the official YouTube API, but that means we need to have OAuth. We need to be able to sign in using a Google account, which is not ideal, but it's working. Okay, so that's working again. So I'm going to create this, and what this should do, if this is working, is move that SEO video to the top of our dashboard with the new lead magnet, and it should update the date on it as well, date and time. Okay, so that's done. Go to the dashboard, and yes, there we go. So it has moved it to the top, and it has updated the time to... No, it hasn't updated the time, because that was definitely yesterday. Yep, September the 10th. I'm less worried about that. That's something we can tweak on. This is when it was first created, but now, as you can see, we have multiple lead magnets in here. What I will probably want, it's a bit of an edge case, but I probably want to be able to delete these, because at the moment I can delete the video, but I can't delete the lead magnets. But okay, we're rocking and rolling. That is fine. So a few things I want to adjust here. First is I want to get rid of this play symbol, because that's a bit confusing. It looks like it's to play the video. That's not what it does. So it's pulled that in because it's a thumbnail. The other thing I want to do is to be able to deal with, and I haven't actually tried this. I think I want, do I want to? Somebody pointed this out on the live yesterday, that if we do a short video, this thumbnail is going to look messy. Let's actually have a look at what that looks like. So interesting. This doesn't work with shorts. Now, is that a problem? Is that a problem? Let's have a look. Because that is shorts. Hush. Now, does a short have a different... no, that's not going to work like that, is it? No. Do I want shorts? It's because a lead magnet is going to be less useful underneath a short, because it's not directly clickable. So I don't think it's valuable. I'm thinking YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, etc. are going to be things I can add later using different APIs and working it out. So I'm going to leave that for now. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for now. What I will change though is get rid of this plus sign. So in the dashboard, the current thumbnails have a nicely animated play symbol on the thumbnails. It looks nice, but I want to get rid of that because it makes it look like when you click on that thumbnail, it will play the video, which is not the case. Instead, it opens up the video and shows us the checklist. So I think let's just get rid of it. Yeah, just get rid of that play symbol entirely. I can't think of another option, so get rid of it. Okay, thanks. That was an incredibly poorly phrased instruction. It could have just been get rid of the the play symbol, but I was trying to think through what I want instead. But I think we're just going to get rid of it. It's actually quite useful though to show you that when you're vibe coding, even if your instructions are a bit crap like that was, it's going to be able to work it out. So I'll remove the play symbol from the thumbnails. It's misleading, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So even if you are blethering like I am, I've also just done a live 1 hour news update, so I'm running out of words perhaps. Remove the play symbol from the dashboard thumbnail. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. Might need to push that. Do it this way. Dashboard. Okay, it's still there. That's weird. It's still there, and it has nudged that down again. Oh, it's reset it based on the date. Okay, that's another problem. Let me update this and see why. The misleading. I replaced the fallback play icon with a document icon to better represent. Okay, so it went ahead and changed it apparently, although I'm not seeing that change yet. So let's try and get it. Project updated. There we go. Okay, so that's gone. Cool. Oh, okay. No, that is fine. There were no problems. That is sitting at the top. And let's get rid of the play icon, so that's a bit clearer. That's good. In terms of YouTube Shorts, so the viewer yesterday very rightfully pointed out that YouTube Shorts are going to have a different dimensionality here. They're not going to be 16:9, they're going to be 9:16, and they're going to look a bit odd here, or it's going to be longer and it's going to muck up our spacing, because this will end up being larger than horizontal one. However, we can't yet process YouTube Shorts, and I'm okay with that because that is not naturally where we're going to be placing the thumbnails. So placing the placing the lead magnets, because there's no way to do that. Yeah, there's no way to do it, so I'm okay with that. That's fine. Cool. So what else do we need to do? We've added 3 lead magnets. We've got a dashboard which allows us to see all the previous lead magnets, to generate more lead magnets, to get the transcript, to view past lead magnets, etc. I want to go ahead and optimize the actual lead magnets themselves. That's something we can do. But I'm focusing on the main functionality at the moment. A big thing I could do, this is slightly psychotic, but this would be a huge functionality shift. Well, not shift, but an addition. A big thing that I can do is I can generate landing pages for each of these lead magnets. So but the question is, where will they be hosted? So it's created, once this has been once a lead magnet has been created, I want it to live somewhere so that my customers can send people to a link, and on that link will be a landing page which has information about the lead magnet and an email capture box. Once they put in their email address, they're sent to this lead magnet. So there's a few things going on there. So making the landing page is relatively simple. I can say, for this lead magnet, for every time you generate a lead magnet, I want you to be able to generate a landing page as well. But then the question is, where does that landing page live? Is it hosted by my application? That would be very cool, and I could charge a lot more for that, because suddenly it is allowing them to capture emails. But then where is that email then captured into? Would have to have them set up an API connection with something like Beehive, for example, or a Zapier connection. So the complexity of this gets out of hand very quickly. Or, no, I don't want to end up running my own mail servers, because the other thing is we could have it so an all-inclusive tool where it connects to, I give them access to a mail server and it sends the lead magnets directly to their signups. But again, that's even more complexity. Ooh, tricky. I feel that we don't want to add this yet. Let me go back and check the project plan. In fact, I'll talk to the project plan. Web scrape, no, we're not doing that. Okay, let's talk. All right. Actually, you have Lovable. I feel that we have the basic functionality in place. We've got the ability to grab a URL. Grab the transcript using a URL from YouTube. Cool. And to turn that into basic lead magnets. We have 3 types. That is fine for now. I will add more lead magnets later. I will add more sources, so being able to grab from Instagram, etc. later, but we're going to do that later. What I want to do is start fleshing this out into an application that I can launch, that I can give people access to so they can start to test it, so I can start to gather feedback. So we need to put in play things like a the user sign up flow, user account creation, and then the basics of monetization. We are not going to monetize it yet. I'm going to give away free credits. So we need a credit counter, so we can tell how much they've used it, and we can limit that during the testing and then when we launch it to free. So I don't want you to do anything right now. Just discuss with me how we can begin to flesh out that functionality and move this towards a launch in the next few days, so that we can do beta testing and gather up information from those beta testers. So do not act on it, just let's discuss for now. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, Lovable, we have the basic functionality in place. Fantastic. I would like to move this towards being able to send it to beta testers, which means we need a user sign up flow. We need a way for them to create accounts. We need a way to assign credits to users. We're probably going to need user roles and user levels too. So we need to create all of this so that we can move this towards a secure launch, which allows me to get beta testers in, to onboard them onto the platform, and to give them a certain number of credits to play around with it and to give me feedback. But at the same time, I want to lay the foundations for being able to monetize this. So we're going to use the same user roles and user levels to build upon, to add in paid subscriptions later. Let's discuss this for now, and give me a plan of action and what we can do step by step by step. I want each step to be very small so that we can deploy the step, I test it, make sure it's working, and then we move on to the next one. So break up the whole implementation for me. Okay, that was messy because I didn't record it the first time. So I've decided this is what I want to do next, is move this towards, because we've been building for a week or so, I want to move this towards getting the basic free version out. I've got lots of refinement to do on the actual lead magnets, etc. Lots of refinement on the design. I haven't done anything there. But all of this, I want feedback from actual users. So it means I need to get it out to users ASAP. So great. I see you want to build a comprehensive user management system. Perfect. You currently have Google OAuth authentication set up. Analyze existing database structure. Excellent. I see you have a solid foundation for user authentication. Also awesome. And user profiles also already in place. Now let me provide you with a comprehensive step-by-step plan to build user management. So phase 1, enhance user flow signup. Add an email password signup alongside Google OAuth. Creates a proper onboarding flow that collects additional user information. Add email verification process. Ensure new users automatically get a user profile created. Step 2, user role system. Create app roles. So admin, beta tester, user premium. Cool. Create user roles table to manage these permissions. Add security define a function to check user roles. Yes, fantastic. And RLS. Yes, great. Create user credits table. Okay. Create initial credit allocation for new users, e.g. 10 credits. Create functions to deduct credits when generating lead magnets. And then phase 2. Okay, cool. Phase 2 beta user management is creating an admin dashboard for me, the admin, add ability to view all users and their credit balances, etc. Add user activity monitoring, credit management system, beta invitation system, credit deduction integration. Okay, so it is just knocking through absolutely everything. Wow, it really is. Phase 4. Okay, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go ahead and grab all of this and chuck it into my Claude project, because this is good stuff. And I want to update Claude with where we are. So Claude, we've got the MVP up. Now we are moving towards beta testing. Here's the plan. And I'm going to say any thoughts / improvements. Also going to go back to Lovable. So Claude is going to do its little thing in the background. With Lovable, one thing that's important. Okay, Lovable, that's good, but remember we need the Google OAuth in order to use the user's Google credentials to get the transcripts from their videos, because we can only get transcripts from their videos, remember, and we need to use that API. So creating additional username, password, etc. doesn't really make any sense, because we still need those Google authorizations. So what we need to do is in the sign up flow, we need to make sure we're collecting Google. They can only log in with Google, and we explain why that is. We also need to make it clear they can only process their own videos, and why that is as well. So those need to go into the early stages. Can you adapt? So what I've just given Lovable is a bit of a clarification, something that I think it's forgotten, which is fair. When we are pulling transcripts from Google, we need to use a Google account, and it can only grab transcripts from your own videos. So I can grab transcripts from my videos, I cannot grab them from other people's videos. So Lovable is saying you're absolutely right, it completely missed that critical requirement. This also tells me it's Claude under the hood. You're absolutely right, it's very Claude. The Google OAuth isn't just for convenience, it's essential for core functionality because we need the user's Google credentials to access YouTube's API. Yes, we do. And retrieve transcripts from their own videos. Perfect. We already have Google OAuth set up. Yes, we do. Great. Now I understand the current setup. Let me adapt. You're absolutely correct. Thanks, Claude. Since we needed... Okay, so it has gone ahead. So I'm going to allow it to kick off and start. And I've also updated Claude. The reason I'm updating Claude is because I sometimes come back to Claude outside of Lovable to basically discuss what I'm doing in Lovable. It just gives me a bit more distance. I can also talk to it like on the move using voice notes. So I will just have a voice conversation with Claude about the project, etc. So what's it saying? Supplemented improvements and additions. Yep. Tutorial and walkthrough. Collect user intent data. That might be something I do, especially during the beta. Consider adding. Okay. So Claude is adding additional suggestions like credit bonus systems, e.g. bonus credits for feedback. So if somebody submits beta tester feedback, then they get some extra credits. Or if they refer somebody else to come and use it and test it, then they get extra credits, etc., etc. So these are all nice things to add, I would say, but let's see if it's... Wow, it's really going into it. It's giving me a timeline recommendation for the next 12 weeks, but I'm going to do this in the next few days because we're going to move forward faster. Oh, I didn't implement. There you go. So we are moving into the next stage. I feel that the basics of the functionality are done. We will tweak, we will improve them, absolutely. But for now, I want to get ready to bring in beta testers, because me tweaking and changing things around is just going to be what I think is good, and I need to get feedback in order to make it so that the improvements are for my customers, not for me. So it's a trap you can fall into, and I've seen many people fall into this, where they would just build and build and build and build and keep improving and never ever get it into the hands of other people. And it means that any changes they're making are all based on what they think is good, which is not necessarily what the people who ultimately matter, the customers, think is going to be good. So I want to move it to beta testing ASAP. Maybe I'll probably launch it, I'll aim for Saturday. So I have a newsletter which goes out Saturday to about 50,000 people. So that'd be a good way to get my first beta testers in. What book is that? Oh, I'm using it to hide some wires, but it's a book I've written. So Start a Business with ChatGPT by me. I am Kyle Balmer. It's one of them. But yes, it is a subtle plug down here. But it is primarily to hide all the horrendous wires, because I'm doing this on TikTok. Oh, sorry, YouTube, you didn't get to see. So YouTube, there was a book that I've written, which is about how to start a business using ChatGPT, which I'm using to tidy up my desktop, and also a subtle plug at the same time. It's on Amazon. It's a bestseller. It used to be a bestseller. I haven't checked for a while. Although you don't make much money from Amazon. It's just a nice way to get more reach, basically. So I've enhanced the auth page with comprehensive explanations about Google OAuth, your videos only limitation, beta access information, and a detailed FAQ section. So let's go ahead and have a look at what that looks like. I didn't give any particular specifications, so it might look rubbish. That's fine. We can then work from there. It's a lot easier to provide feedback and edit than it is to create something from scratch. Okay, so sign out. Here we go. Turn your YouTube videos into lead magnets. Transform your video content into powerful marketing assets. Generate checklists, quizzes, and PDF guides from your YouTube videos in minutes. Beta access available. Free credits included. Okay, there's a lot going on here, but the basics are kind of there. I'm okay with this for the beta test, because we do need to kind of clarify what it is, and these are going to be more advanced users, at least initially. Later when we are... It's interesting. Someone's saying my voice is dead. Have I got no audio on my YouTube? That's going to be very frustrating if that's the case, but we are far too deep in. Later, I will turn this into a sales page, and it won't be so technical. It will instead be how to... why you should pay, basically. But for now, this is okay for the beta tester. So why can I only use my own YouTube videos? Because strict policies, 100%. What data do you access? This is really good questions. We don't access your... Okay, that's really good. Free. We're currently in beta and offering free credits to early users. Each new account receives credits to test. What kind of lead magnets can I generate? You can generate actionable checklists, interactive quizzes, and comprehensive PDF guides. Does my video need captions? Okay, that's not really relevant because it will always auto-generate. Most YouTube videos have auto. Cool. So secure, so they will click on here. It will sign them in using Google, and then they were in. Boom. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll have to test it with accounts that aren't mine, but I will do that later. Okay, looks good. Next step. So that seems to be working. I should probably test the generator still working, but I think it is. It looks okay to me. I will now implement step 2, user role systems. Okay, off you go. And in time-honored tradition, this is day 8. Every single time, just before we get to the end of the stream, I decide to do something big and audacious and then break everything. So here we go, adding user roles and changing my database around. Perfect. Step 2 is complete. I've successfully implemented the user role system. Cool. New users automatically get user role, admin only roles. So this is tricky because I can't see that. What are you doing here? Oh, I didn't actually ask you to proceed, but okay. What's it doing? Okay. Migration failed. I don't know what migration you're doing. It looks like the user role system already exists partially. Yes, it does. You know that. Okay, so it's just continuing. Sorry, it hadn't finished. I thought it had just begun a new thing. So one problem here is that I can't actually see the user roles. So what I need, which it has later in the plan, is some kind of admin. So an admin dashboard for me as the admin to be able to see the stuff. The user role is complete. Let me create a utility hook to easily work with user roles. So let me scroll up and see what the... So here we go. Step 3, user roles, cool. And then it's going to go on to credit systems, blah, blah, blah. What I need it to do is pull step 6 earlier so I can see all of this. Ready for user credit system. No, hang on a moment. I think we need to jump to 6 and set up an admin panel so that I can check your work with user roles, etc. I need visibility on the functionality adding so I know it's working. Plus we should test each step as we go. So let's go ahead and nudge it from, and so I'm saying don't do stage or step 3, let's do step 6 and then we're going to come back. How do you define the roles? So I only need a few roles right now. I need admin, that is me. I need basically a free user and a paid user. That's kind of it. We're also adding a beta tester user. But defining the roles is going to be both a business decision and a technical decision as well. So your roles will depend on how you are going to be charging. And are you going to have a freemium model? Are you premium only? Etc. etc. So you kind of need to think through that first, how you're going to be monetizing this, and then you make sure that your roles and the technical implementation of the roles match what you're going to be, how you're building your actual product. So it will depend. The phone version and the desktop GPT is 2 different prices, right? No, they should be the same. I'm pretty sure they're both $20 a month or free. I think they're the same. So once you don't pay for ChatGPT on your phone, because you'll end up paying Apple's whatever it is fee. But if you sign up for a ChatGPT account at openai.com or chat.com or chatgpt.com, then you can just sign into your ChatGPT account on your telephone. So it should be $20 a month. Right, you're absolutely right. We need visibility and testing at each step. Let me create an admin dashboard so you can see and test. Oh, I need to approve something. I'll create a basic admin panel and temporarily make you an admin so you can test the function. I want to fully be an admin, but okay. So you saw that I just approved an action there. That is in Superbase, which is the database in the back end. So Lovable has a native integration with Superbase. This is it here, this green lightning strike. I think it's a strike. Oh, it's an S. Oh, I've always thought of it as a lightning strike, but I guess it's an S on its side. So they have a native integration with them, which makes it really easy. It's basically a couple of clicks. I would say that once you start to deploy lots of projects, it might become expensive. It's $10 per new project per month. But if you're building a business and you're making more than $10, which you should be, if it's a business, that's not really an issue. It's only an issue if you are doing lots of toy fun projects or internal things for yourself. Then you might want to look at alternatives. I think Lovable are beta testing their own backend. which would be amazing, because then suddenly Lovable is basically providing you with the full stack. So the development tools, the front end, the hosting, and the database in the background, which just means it's a one-stop shop, which reduces technical requirements to use it, which would be fantastic. So good, now you're an admin, awesome. Let me create an admin dashboard where you can see users and their roles. Jolly good. Yes, when we create a role, we're storing users in a table, and then we have a table sitting in the background. Let's have a look in our database. So this is our database right now. So user roles here as user roles, ID, user ID, role, created at and updated at. This is sitting in the back end of the database. Admin dashboard created, and so this thing here I didn't have to create. Lovable did all that creation for me. So if you look at that and you're like, oh my god, I could never do that, it's fine. Thankfully we can use the vibe coding tool to help with that kind of stuff as well. Now obviously if you're building something very complicated, you'd want to look at the schema and work all of that out in advance. If you're building something fast as a prototype, or you've never touched code before, this is still a lot easier and it will get you there. It is not going to be the fully optimized best job you could do, as if you had hired a back-end developer, but it will get you there. So now you can test user role systems. Sign in, you're now an admin. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that out. So I should have apparently a nice little admin dashboard for myself. Should be here, because I'm signed in using my Gmail, yeah, Google account. It should work. That is not work. Oh, there it is. Well, that's no good. It's creating hundreds of errors. So I kind of just want one of these, please. Yeah, I don't want all of them. So stop that. I'm just gonna grab some of this. Thankfully I'm not using them anymore. Go. So I'm just going to grab that bit from the top, because it seems to have been the same thing. And then this would probably be the last thing we do, but at least we have a plan for moving forward with the rest of the admin. Beans is saying, not a fan of Lovable. I mean, there's plenty of other vibe coding tools. The reason I'm using this one is because it's nice and simple for anyone to get started with. I also use Cursor, Claude Code. I've tried out Bolt, Replete, VO, Base 44, etc. I prefer Lovable compared to those, but they're different tools for different jobs. I see the issue. The admin dashboard is failing because the Superbase admin API is not available. Fixed the admin dashboard. Okay. Well, let's check if that's the case. If not, it's probably still the end of the stream because we're at an hour, and that'll be something that I will either fix afterwards if it's fast, or on the live tomorrow. Oh, Ben, for the charity, happy to help. Is it hands on deck or strategy? It's hands on deck. So this is a charity that I do pro bono work with. Let's see if this opens. I've got a loading screen. That's something. Okay, it didn't explode, but that's something not right. So the charity, yes, I do pro bono work with them. They are a charity who works with women who are escaping violence and human trafficking, pregnant women and women who have young children. So they're refugees and asylum seekers. The charity helps them with everything that the Home Office doesn't, which is quite a lot, especially when you have a young child. And this charity are looking to put together a fundraising platform similar to Just Giving, but with a physical element. So lots of people nowadays, based on their research, lots of people don't really want gifts anymore. They're just like, oh, just, you know, donate the money to charity or whatever it is, because they don't want physical gifts, they don't want cash, because they're kind of okay and they don't need anything more in their house, they don't need any more physical stuff. So the idea is to create a platform where you can donate to a charity. So I, as the donator can donate to a charity. The charity gets the cash, but I can do it on behalf of somebody, and that person gets like a physical memento, like a card or some kind of binder or something like that, to show that that money is being donated. So it's a bit like Just Giving plus Moonpig. So it's a gift. You can gift donations, and there is a physical implementation of that gift. So this charity is building it not just to raise money for themselves, but to raise money for lots of other charities. So it's kind of a startup, kind of a charitable idea connected to an existing charity. So I'm looking for people who can help them with the implementation. So I'm helping them with the strategy, although I'd love to obviously get you in on that as well, Ben, and anyone else who has ideas about how this could work. But they are primarily looking for people who can volunteer time and skill to help them with the build. I've shown them Lovable, and they're like, oh wow, this is really cool, and because they want to put together a basic prototype, and then they can raise some money, and then they can potentially flesh it out. But the initial build would be in something like Lovable or Claude Code or Cursor, or if we can get a coder on board who is willing to dedicate time, we can do it without vibe coding. I mean, there are lots of different ways to do it, but right now I'm just looking for people who are interested in volunteering time and skill. So absolutely, we can chat. What are your release plans? Oh, I have broken this. Let me put in one more request. So the release plans for this, the whole, do you know what it is? Let me jump out and back in. So the whole purpose of this is to, over 30 days, build an application and to launch it. So I have an audience of about 250,000. So that is the plan for the launch, is to take it to my audiences and then go from there. So probably try to rank it on Product Hunt and talk to other content creators that I have connections with, try and get them to do shout outs and basically get it launched as a mini SaaS. I'm not aiming for this to be like a full-time job or anything, or a full-time project, but I would like to get it to a few $1,000s a month, like just recurring, in the next few months. That is the plan right now. I've done lots of product launches before, so I'm not too worried about that stuff, and I have the audience in place. So I'm focusing on the build right now, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So let me quickly do one more thing with Lovable. We're at the end of the hour though, so hey Lovable. So it no longer crashes out, but when I click on the admin button, I get a white screen with a loading icon, and it doesn't go any further from there. There are no console errors. So we'll do this as our final last hurrah, see if it can fix it. Unfortunately, there are no indications of what's actually going wrong, which is kind of the worst. Yeah, there's nothing in the console. That's weird. That is flashing. So I think that is stuck trying to... Oh, I've never seen that. That's cool. Okay. Let's see if we can do anything. It's stuck in a loading state. The loading icon suggests a component is stuck in a loading state. Yeah. Let me debug this by checking the use user role hook and adding some login to see what's happening. Cool. Tony, this is Lovable. The reason I'm using Lovable is I want to show that the build process is something other people can do. Like, even if you haven't touched code, you can use a tool like Lovable to build something. I've added a debug log. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look at that. What's going on? Okay, so we have a console here. Boo, boo, boo. Drop that in there. Oh, Ben, you're a coder too. I mean, awesome. was mainly looking for vibe coders because it's easier, but coders, much better. Just message you, happy to chat about the charity. Awesome, awesome. I will send you some details immediately after this. I see the issue, React error 300, cannot call a component as a function. Okay. So it might be having an issue because it's temporarily made me into an admin, and it is not necessarily recognizing me as an admin. Not sure, let's have a look. But we are at the end of the hour, so I'm committing 1 hour a day to this only, which pains me because now I want to do nothing more than to continue to fix this problem. And I'm sure if you've built stuff before, you know exactly what I feel. The idea of stepping away from this is very upsetting, but I want to spend an hour a day because me spending 6-8 hours a day grinding away at this is not very helpful for the people who are watching the live stream, and I want people to be building alongside. I want people to think, oh, I can do that, rather than, oh, he spent 8 hours a day for the last 6 weeks building this, well, I don't have that time. I see the issue. Here we go. Please click here. Right, so we're going to see if that works. If it does not, that's going to be the end of the stream. I don't care, because I need to stick to that 1 hour deadline. If you've never tried vibe coding before, or coding, or any kind of building, it is quite addictive, especially vibe coding. There we go. Look at that. Total users 1, me. So action. So I can make him into an admin. Does that save? I can't tell. Oh, he's already an admin. So created today, not really true, but that's fine, and it's got an ID here, beta testers here. Okay, so we have a very basic admin dashboard in play. Awesome, and that should only be openable by me using my email address. We need to test all of that because it might not be, and that would be a disaster. So before we do anything, we're going to make sure those kind of things are in play before we launch anything at all. Cool. I am happy with the progress. We have, what have we done? We did some work in the dashboard, so we removed the little play icon from here, which is confusing because it looked like it would make it play. Instead, it opens up a drop down. It shows you all of the lead magnets that we've created. We also, well, I wasted 20 minutes of my time putting in this video again and again and again and not seeing it in this dashboard because it was down here and I was just being stupid. We now have it so the last video that triggered a generation comes to the top, so it's easy to find. And then from there we are starting to move towards bringing on beta testers, which means we need to put in place user roles. We need to put in place sign up flow, telling them that they're beta testers, what it's about, etc. We also need to start putting in a credit system, so somebody can't just come in and rinse out my ChatGPT. So we're going to be doing that as well. That is not in play yet, but it will be shortly. And then we are just going to start fleshing it all out, and I should be able to launch it hopefully at the end of the week on Saturday in the newsletter, and we can get some beta testers in, start to collect some feedback, start to collect some information, and go from there in terms of what we need to build out. But the basic functionality is there. We can improve the product, we can improve the flow, we can improve everything about this, but I don't want to get stuck in a loop of me personally trying to improve everything without feedback, because then I'm only improving it for myself and I need to improve it for customers, if that makes sense. So we're getting there, and we're 1 hour 10 minutes, we're a bit over. Thank you so much, and I'm going to hop off first to YouTube